going on, guys? It's your boy Mike from Seattle, and I'm here with a follower of my channel, of Dion's channel. I think the first time I met Mark was in the comment section of a live stream for one rental. Somebody we met through the comment section, networking online. I recommend you guys do it. Mark lives in Hawaii. Mark, tell us a little bit more about where you live in Hawaii, how long you've been there, and he's a firefighter, but he's also an out-of-state real estate investor. So, Mike, give us the elevator, Mark, give us the elevator pitch for you.
I'm 46 years old. I've lived in Honolulu, Hawaii all my life. I live on the east side of the island in Hawaii Kai. I am also, like Mike said, a firefighter. I'm at the Hawaii Kai fire station, so I live close to home. This is where I also grew up, so I've been out here pretty much my whole life.
So what made you decide that you wanted to be one of America's second responders and go the firefighter route instead of course, the law enforcement route like your boy?
Well, I always wanted to help people. I just, growing up, you just see the fire trucks driving around and they're always a community presence. And it's an awesome job helping a lot of people, especially in probably their worst time of need or their worst day. But yeah, you get to help a lot of people in different situations. And, and we also get a lot of respect, unlike you in your profession. A lot of
Yeah.
people when we show up, they're kind of happy and in a good mood to see us.
The real heroes have arrived. That's what I usually say. So, so wait, how long have you been a firefighter?
So I've been a firefighter for 15 years now. I first started with the Federal Fire Department of Hawaii. So the city and county is a little bit more challenging to get into. So I had to wait my time. But I started with the federal side. So that's like the military bases. So I did 2 years there, and then I got into the Honolulu Fire Department. So 13 years now with the city and county.
Okay, cool. That's a decent amount of time to be doing this job. It's not easy on the body, especially in those heat suits you guys wear. I imagine in the heat out in Hawaii too.
Oh yeah, yeah. In my area too, we have. I'm not sure if your father is going to be familiar, but there's a Cocoa Head Stairs hike. So any visitors, make sure if you're going to do that hike, take a lot of water. But we probably get one or two rescues on that mountain every week, and the helicopter has to come in. But it's an old I mean, it has a great view at the top, but it's about 1,000 steps upwards, and it's pretty straight up at some points. And it used to be an old like railroad track for I believe back in the war days, military. That's how they used to transport equipment up to the top for the bunkers. So there's bunkers at the top of the mountain, and it's a great view. It's a great hike, but definitely very challenging. And so just make sure if you do go, take a lot of water and try to go earlier in the day when it's not too hot.
Yeah, well, I have decided that usually the best advice when you're traveling to some new place is to try to find somebody who's familiar with the area before you undertake something you're inexperienced with, which kind of transitions into how I feel about out-of-state real estate investing. So, Mark, you're a firefighter for the last 15 years. You still are. But recently, you decided to start investing in real estate, and you invest all the way in Pennsylvania. So tell us a little bit more about like what got you interested in real estate? How long did it take for you to get started? Why did you pick Pennsylvania, and how'd you get that first rental?
So, I was down the traditional path. I started with a condo, moved into a single family home as I got a family. But I never considered myself like a landlord or investor, even though I had a rental property in Hawaii. And I honestly, I was kind of just coasting along. Doing the traditional Roth accounts, 401k.
Right.
Um, Definitely, we have a wonderful pension, the fire department, great retirement system. So I was just coasting along. I was just like, I'm going to do my 25 years, get my full pension, full benefits, and just then I was done. But then COVID came along and the shutdown came along, and I fortunately, you and I we were still able to work, and keep our jobs. And but I looked around and I seen a lot of people struggling and a lot of people, getting laid off, or especially people that had only one income, and it was
Hmm.
hard for them. So I really kind of reevaluated, my situation and how risky I was being with my finances.
Hmm.
And it's kind of hard. I'm sure you might have the same situation, but when I go to work and I go to the station, I mean, a lot of the guys they're doing the same thing. Everybody's following each other, and oh, I'm putting in my deferred comp, and
Hmm. Yep. Deferred comp.
deferred comp. I have so many years. I get this much pension,
Hmm.
and it's just it's everywhere around us. So it's kind of hard to really branch off, and even now when I talk about real estate, um, everybody just thinks I'm crazy for what I'm doing. But yeah, so I kind of looked around and I just saw that I was being very risky with my finances. And long story short, me and my son's mom, we split up. But I had a friend who was investing out of state, and he was always putting it in my ear, like, hey, you gotta try this, like this is the way to do it, and this is much better than traditional retirement. And I had equity in my property because Hawaii's property appreciates so well that
Right.
I had equity in my property. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. And since me and my son's mom split up, I had a lot more time on my hand to kind of focus on my situation and what I wanted to do. And I always joke about it, but I probably read more books in the past 2 years that I probably read since high school. I mean, I don't. I mean, I started going down the rabbit hole and
Yeah.
podcasts and YouTube channels and reading. So I found something I was passionate about, and my friend, he was investing in Pittsburgh. So I did my research. Checked the the economy, the growth, how it was looking, what kind of market it was. I mean, I wouldn't say I used the best tools to really get like this is the best market to invest in.
Mm.
However, it was a promising market. I liked what I saw, but more so was that my friend invested there, and he kind of went through a lot of problems, and he kind of had some hiccups in the beginning of his journey. So it made me feel more comfortable with it. Okay, he kind of took some lumps, and he kind of built a team up. So it
Yeah,
made
yeah.
me feel
Hold
more
on, Mark.
comfortable.
Hold on. So what you just said, oh, maybe I didn't take the proper steps and processes to make sure it was the best market, but I knew somebody there who'd gone through the ringer already, built a team. I feel like, and in my opinion, the best out-of-state real estate investing market for you, the viewer, or for you, Mark, or for me, is always going to be the market that you have connections to. Like, yeah, on a spreadsheet, some other market might have better returns. But unless you have connections to people that you know and trust in that market, the amount of time you're going to spend, the learning curve that it's going to take to actually see those returns is so big that I would prefer to go someplace where you have connections. So I'll let you get back to your story, but real quick, add in. So this friend of yours, this fellow investor, who are they? How did you meet them? Do you work with them? Tell us a little bit more about that. How did you make that connection to the point where you
So
felt comfortable enough to take their advice and invest?
So he's just his son and my son are the same age, and they're like best buddies. And he's kind of in the same situation. Him and his son's mom split up, and but he's a nurse at one of the hospitals.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean he's actually the same age as me. I probably ran into him. The island is so small. I'm sure I ran into him at parties and stuff when we were younger. But yeah, we just came into connection because our sons are best friends, and actually he's a really good friend with one of the guys I'm stationed with, who's also my classmate from high school. So it's just a small circle. So yeah, he was investing, and so his family has been investing a long time in real estate, and it's something that he started as far as out of state investing.
Okay.
So he took that journey first, and he kept telling me, "Hey, you should check into this. You should check into this," and I did, and um, what was supposed to be a slow, try and see process kind of just took off and snowballed on me, and I've gone all in now.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, Mark, you're also a real estate agent, right?
Yes. So that's kind of just recently. So I just got my license, and just trying to build that brand also. But I understood the market is shifting, and I kind of was I knew the market was changing, and transactions were definitely going to slow down.
Right.
So it was more in the thought process of I wanted to build this foundation now when I hopefully retire early from the fire department.
Right.
I can dabble in this and also just build some more connections and network.
Mhm. Well, I know that the struggle a lot of new agents have is that if being a real estate agent is their only job, it can take a while to kind of see money come in. And especially during an economic downturn, it's going to be even more difficult. But if you have a stable job already, you can kind of float the learning curve process of that. So are you looking to invest more in Hawaii, or are you still looking to invest out of state in Pennsylvania? And again, how'd you get your first rental property? Out there, not the condo.
Yeah, not really looking to invest in Hawaii. For me, the numbers don't really make sense unless you put down a tremendous amount of down
Right.
payment. So it's something where maybe if I'm generating enough cash flow from my other rentals out of state, then I would consider maybe doing something here. But for the most part, yeah, I think out of state investing is the way to go, especially the numbers make a lot more sense.
Mhm.
You can live, like I said, you can live where you want, but you invest where the numbers make sense.
Right, right.
So, yeah, I still investing in Pittsburgh, have a great team in place. I love my property manager. I think that's also super important, but I love the relationship I have with my property manager, my realtor, and even my property manager. He's starting to get into kind of a flipping type of business. So he's presenting us with some of his investments. So like kind of a turnkey model he's trying to work
Right.
on.
Yeah, that's
So
always
that's
good.
been great. But how I got my first one was, like I mentioned earlier, I had a lot of equity in my primary residence here, and I said that the appreciation in Hawaii's real estate is just off the charts. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of equity I was sitting on, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this chance, and HELOC is something that's very, very popular in Hawaii.
Hmm.
And we have the local banks here, they always have these teaser rates for the HELOCs, and I haven't quite found them in the mainland banks or the bigger or the mainland markets, but
Hmm.
usually, well, the rates have gone up with all the interest rates, but it's usually about they have like a teaser rate like 1.9% for the
Dang.
first year. Yeah, so it's like
It's pretty good.
yeah, and then what a lot of people do, I'm not sure, it's they jump from bank to bank,
Right.
they just do the teaser rates at each bank,
Mm,
and they just
smart.
because the prices keep appreciate or generally appreciate every year,
Right.
so they just keep jumping from bank to bank for that teaser rate, and so some
Hmm.
people are using that to pay down their mortgage a lot quicker, and
Mm.
other people are using that to renovate, or other people are using that to invest, and that's what I did. So I had a HELOC on my property, and that was how I got my first property, and some little hiccups. And another thing I would mention is make sure people get familiar with like the taxes in whatever market they're going to invest in. So Pennsylvania has one of the highest transfer title fees, and I found that out on my first transaction. So I did an all cash purchase on my first transaction, and I was gonna do the whole refinance to pull out my equity,
Right.
and also wanted to do the whole asset protection and putting each entity or each property in an LLC.
Mm.
So just to transfer it from my name into an LLC, I believe it was about 5 to 6% of the purchase price.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Whoa. What, how much did you buy the house for?
I believe that one was 135, I
Ooh.
believe.
So like
Yeah,
8 grand, 7 grand
yeah.
or something.
So I mean, of all places I invested in, Pennsylvania has the highest
Right.
transfer fee in the country, I believe.
So it
But
would have been better for you to buy it with an LLC immediately, or you're just going to buy it and just leave it in your name.
um, I can see you doing it whatever suits you best, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't get caught up in the whole LLC structure. I don't want people to get held up because they're trying to figure out the whole asset protection and if that's something that they want to do. For me, I just wanted to do the whole protecting my assets, especially since my primary residence is fairly high, being in Hawaii.
Right.
So I want to put everything in asset protect in their own LLCs. So for me, if it's better to go strictly into the LLC, if that's something you think you're gonna do,
Mhm.
because it starts becoming a headache, I think after if you try to correct it later. If you want to do the LLC route, I suggest starting off with that, and it kind of simplifies things as you keep progressing. But yeah, there's no problem putting it in your name. I mean, and of course, you get the better rates, you get better
Right.
insurance.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, so how many properties do you currently have in Pennsylvania?
I have 14 properties now.
Okay, so you bought your first one in Pennsylvania when?
2021.
2021. Okay, so whew, when in 2021? Like beginning of the year, end of the year?
Towards the beginning, and
Okay.
so that leads up to my. So I went all in. I got it, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I took everything out of my retirement accounts that I could touch.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, deferred
Unfortunately, I
comp.
was yeah, but I can't touch my deferred comp, so that's another thing that upset me. And
Okay, so you didn't take it out of deferred comp, but you had previous Roth
yeah,
IRAs and stuff. Okay, okay.
yes,
So you
yeah,
went into that, emptied it out, and so did you pay the penalty to take from the Roth
yeah.
IRA, or did you use because I know there was an exemption during COVID where they were like you could take some money out. Did any of
Yeah,
that
so that's
happen?
what I was just gonna mention. I just missed it by like a month. So there
Oh
was a CARES
man.
Act that, yeah, you could pull that out with penalty free. And unfortunately, I my journey started a little bit later, and I
Hmm.
just missed being able to pull it out penalty free. But the way I look at it now, I think it worked out for the best as far as what the appreciation on the properties have been, and
Okay.
how the market has kind of gone down since I've taken it out.
Right,
So
right, right. Yeah, no kidding.
yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me do a couple of rapid fire questions here. I'm going to bust a calculator out because I want to do this. What is, let's say, your average purchase price of a property? 100,000, 200,000. What's the average of all of them?
We'll just go 150 to make it
Okay.
simple.
And what do they on average rent for?
About 1,500.
Okay, so on average, it's hitting the 1% rule.
Yeah.
Were you putting 20% down on these guys? 20% down, 4.5 to 5% interest rate type thing?
Yeah. So the first one I had to do a 30% down
Okay.
because I was a new investor and
Right.
kind of new. So, but after that, once I built relationships with lenders, everything is 20% down now.
Okay. And then what's like say the average interest rate that you're getting on these bad boys?
Mine are all under 5%. So
I'm
yeah,
gonna
they're all,
estimate high and call it 5%. Okay, so you got $150,000 houses on average with 20% down most of the time, 5% interest rate. Are they all 30-year fixed rate mortgages?
yes.
Okay. How'd you get 14 30-year fixed rate mortgages?
So I used a non-QM lender or the DSCR, the debt service coverage ratio.
Nice.
So that's something so that kind of, like I said, the first one I purchased in my name, and then I was doing a second one also in my name. And that's when I started to realize like how do people get, 10 rental properties? Like how do they do it? Especially in Hawaii, our prices are so high here. I have a lot of debt in my name. So my debt to income was starting to become an issue.
Mm,
So that started me to go down the rabbit hole of start researching how do people continue to get financing for this. And
right.
so I started looking out to researching and different YouTube channels and blogs and podcasts, and it led me down to like I guess you could say private lending or non-QM lenders,
Mm,
and that's where I came across different lenders that is asset based. So it's
mm.
basically based off of the asset and the rent. And so yeah, that and here we are. And now that's strictly what I use.
So do you pay your property manager 8%, 10%, 12%?
I pay him 9%.
9%? Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And then how much do you typically set aside for like vacancies, maintenance, repairs, capital expenditures? What do you set aside for that?
So that would be my next, hopefully can help people is to prepare for that a lot better.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I put 10% aside. However, I, my biggest problem I think I ran into is I probably tried to grow too quickly.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for some expenses that probably came up. So it's, I was more in the rent ready type of properties that I purchased.
So they were
So
mostly turnkey, not needing a lot of work.
yeah, not I wouldn't say they were turnkey where, a lot of the big ticket items were fixed. So usually the turnkey model, a lot of times the big ticket items are all going to be taken care of ahead of time. So the purchase price is going to be a little bit higher.
Right.
Mine would be kind of what I would say rent ready, where yeah, not a lot of work. Somebody could probably move in right away to rent it out. Unfortunately, there's furnace issues or maybe some air conditioning issues, but some things that I probably should have been better prepared for. So for me, I think that's one advice I would give is to things may seem, my first few went well. They were great. They were awesome. And I think that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go down this and I'm gonna go all in. And
Right.
uh, I think that's the one thing is I think I went a little too quickly. I would
Hmm.
have I would have slowed down a little bit, or I wouldn't have gone as fast. But yeah,
Okay, so by my estimation, it's looking like if you were setting not 9% aside for your property manager, 10% aside for your vacancies, your maintenance, your capital expenditures, you're setting aside essentially almost 20% right out the gate. So your $1,500 that you have, you immediately set aside 20%. So that leaves you with $1,200 left over. Then from there, you've got to subtract out your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on the mortgage and all that stuff. My rough estimate is like around $850 a month for all that other type of stuff. So it
yeah,
looks like you're probably $350 per unit per cash flow.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, in straight
Yeah,
profit. So times
yeah,
14, which is 4,900 or almost $5,000 a month in straight profit. That's
yeah,
pretty good. That's more than what is that a year? $60,000 a year? 5,000? I think so. Don't cool. I'm a cop. Remember, my math isn't going to be great. All right, 60,000 a year. You've replaced a large majority of the country's income in
yes.
1 year of doing rental properties. And your only advice would have been, hey, if I'd done it a little bit slower, I could have set aside a little extra money for repairs. I assume you're probably saving up more cash reserves now to handle any problems.
Yeah, so pretty much what I'm doing is everything I get is pretty much going right back into the line of credit and
Hmm.
just keeping that balance as low as possible. And
Right.
then if something comes up, I'll use that. But I'm just trying to get that down as low as possible until my next opportunity comes up.
Okay. So when did you close on your last property? You said all of your interest rates are below 5%. When was the last one closed?
My last one was in January of 2022.
So before interest rates started
Yeah.
skyrocketing. Okay. So you managed to buy all 14 of those properties in literally like 1 year.
Yeah. So also in that process, I did a 1031 with my condo property that I had in
Oh, okay.
Hawaii. Yeah.
Okay. So
So
you cashed that thing out completely.
yeah, because that,
Nice.
like I said, it cash flowed, but that was because I had so much invested in it, so much in it already that it did cash flow, but very minimal, maybe like $200 a month, and so I said, you know what? I looked at what I was doing in Pittsburgh, and I decided to do a 1031. So I believe I got four properties out of that
I bet. I
yeah,
bet
and
that
it
that
was
that 20% down, you can split that up into a lot of
yeah.
other properties.
Yeah, and it's funny. I sent my realtor the picture of the condo I saw. And I said, "Hey, look, this is a one bedroom studio or one bedroom apartment for 500,000." And he was just laughing.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
but yeah,
Well, so couple questions left before we wrap this up. Um, obviously this is a pretty inspirational story. I think one of the main complaints people have is, okay, it's hard to get my first one, but then once you get the first one, you sit around, you say to yourself, oh, I just wish I could get another one, another one, another. I know that was my complaint as I slowly started to hit terminal velocity, and now I buy stuff much more quickly than I did before. Sounds like the pieces of advice you would offer would be estimate more to set aside in terms of cash reserves. Can you explain why? Have you run into any like major problems? Did you have any like oh crap moments when you bought something and then the roof fell off the next day or something?
Not major problems, just I would say 10 out of the 14 have gone smooth, and it was just about four of them. There's always something coming up, popping up. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing I would say is I found a lot of good deals by purchasing in the fall or winter months towards the end of the year.
Right.
However, I guess I don't, maybe just as Pittsburgh or whatnot, but that time of year also is a little bit more difficult to find tenants. Uh,
Yes. It's
so I
cold,
got some
man.
good deal. Yeah, so I got some good deals. However, it took a little bit longer than I thought to put some tenants in there.
Mhm.
So that's another thing too that I probably wasn't well prepared for.
Mhm.
But yeah,
So if you could give anybody advice right now, hey, I'm interested in investing in real estate. Maybe I've done a house hack, but I can't buy anything else in my area. You know, you and I'm in Seattle, you're in Hawaii, very expensive. Or maybe they can't even afford to buy their first property where they're at. They want to move out of state. They want to look at moving into doing out of state real estate investing because they think the numbers make sense. What would be the best piece of advice you could give them, and then like the biggest red flag they should avoid?
my best advice is to just educate yourself. Find a channel like Millennial Mike's or my channel, hopefully, but just, reach out to someone and try to get some education and see what they're doing. But definitely network. Definitely reach out to someone who's already investing out of state and see how they're doing and what their kind of structure that they use. But what you'll find out is this real estate investing community is just wonderful. I mean, everybody's here to help everybody. I haven't met one person that had any bad intentions, I believe. Everyone is just here trying to help each other because it might bring deals to them later on, or it might put them in contact with someone that can help them. But this is an awesome community to be a part of. My one red flag I would say is don't get caught up, that whole analysis paralysis type thing
Mm,
and
right.
trying to find that perfect market. Because there's a lot of great markets out there. I mean, there's a lot of great markets that cash flow that can appreciate. But then it's almost like chasing five squirrels. You're like, oh, this one looks good this week. It's like we were talking before we started. Like my son, he likes Avengers one week, he likes Sonic the next week. It's
Right.
Pokemon the next week. But it's
Right.
kind of like that. If you start looking for all these markets, there's tons of markets out there. So I would just focus on getting one market and just like we talked about earlier. If you know someone that invests in that market and it seems like a good market, that might be the best way to start, because having someone to kind of guide you or help you use their team that they use. But like I said, that's how I got started. I mean, I hate to say it, but my friend made a lot of mistakes, and he had contractors walk away with his money. He
Oof.
was trying to self manage from here. That's why. So
Yeah.
he was trying to do it from here. So he took a lot of lumps, and I was kind of like, okay, you made some mistakes. I'm willing to hopefully jump on your team that you have, and
Mhm.
it's worked out.
Yeah, a smart person learns from their mistakes, and a genius learns from other people's mistakes. And to your point earlier, like General Patton says, a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. So don't let the perfect become the enemy of the good. Sometimes you just have to be willing to not get stuck in analysis paralysis and say, this is good. I like what I'm seeing. I have the connections. I have proof of concept. I think I'm going to be successful. I'm going to go ahead and just pull the trigger and get after it. Marc, I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us and letting folks know, hey, you can get started investing even when prices were going up, as interest rates were going down. He's done a whole lot of cool things, 14 units in less than a year. Marc does have a brand new YouTube channel. He's a member of the One Rental at a Time like family because he watches our stuff. We've commented with him. He's been in on the live streams and all that stuff. So he's part of the group. I recommend you guys follow his channel. Marc, would you give us your info on the name of your channel and stuff like that? How people can get a hold of you?
It is the Financial Firefighter, f.i.r.e, like financial independent or financially independent, retire early. It's an awesome name, and someone helped me come up with it. I gotta give credit to Millennial Mike for coming up with my name. But yeah, you can reach me at the Financial Firefighter, also on Instagram, the Financial Firefighter also. But yeah, check it out. Hopefully you like it.
Yeah, and Marc will comment down in the comments below on this video, and I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description of the video. But Marc, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, man.